Well, Newton teachers and students are heading back to school tomorrow after a 2-week-long strike. The union is set to vote on the new contract tonight, which, among other things, includes pay increases and more parental leave. Joining us now is Massachusetts Teachers Association President Max Page. Max, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks so much. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, things did get bitter between the two sides here. We know students missed 11 days of classes. Would you call what happened in Newton a success?
I think the contract is a success, and it will represent an improvement in many ways for the public schools in Newton in the near term and also the long term. So none of the members of the Newton Teachers Association wanted to go on strike, but the contract that they have achieved is a benefit for the entire community.
Well, Dedham teachers seem to start this recent trend when they went on strike in 2019. They were the first to do so in Massachusetts in 12 years at the time. Since then, teachers in 6 other communities, including Newton, followed. Contracts are coming up or are up right now in still other communities. So should those districts prepare for the possibility of a strike? Is this the new normal, in other words?
No, districts and school committees should prepare by coming to the table prepared to bargain. And, we have in the Massachusetts Teachers Association, we represent 117,000 members in 400 locals. And what you just listed were those places that of all those, that's 6 places, actually there were 7 that felt like they had to at some point go withhold their labor in order to achieve a fair contract. The vast majority are resolved in the normal collective bargaining method at the table. So the main thing that our members ask is that school committees come to the table at the start of bargaining, ready to discuss and negotiate on the core issues that our educators have lifted up as key to improving their public schools.
What is going on then? I spoke with the Newton Public Schools. They said that they had met 25 times at least with the union before they decided to go on strike, at least 25 times. So what is not happening to prevent a strike, which we know teacher strikes are illegal in Massachusetts?
In some places, as in Newton, and as well as the other places you mentioned, they simply stall and do not engage on the issues. There were no responses for months and months and months to the Newton Teachers Association's proposals on common sense issues that improve the schools, such as smaller class sizes, such as getting towards living wages for the paraprofessionals, such as mental health supports, the social workers in their schools. These were all proposals put on the table in October, not October of 2023, but October of 2022. So this is a case where, unfortunately, the school committee, and I will remind you that in many of these places, it's high-priced union-busting lawyers that have been hired by the school district. And part of their technique is to stall and stall and stall. And remember, the longer they stall, the longer bargaining goes on, the more those lawyers get paid. So unfortunately, in a few places like this, the school committees and their lawyers have had bad advice and have tried to stall and not engage. And I think people looking at this final contract will say, wow, that's great. We should have more mental health supports. Paraprofessionals should not make $24,000 a year. Maybe they should make closer to $30,000 or $35,000, which is still not a lot of money for a professional educator working full time. So as I say, there's many ways in which this could work out and does in other communities. School committees and their mayors need to come to the table prepared to really talk and work with the union to come to a fair resolution.
Briefly, we want to touch on this last point here. The Newton Teachers Association owes up to $900,000 in the wake of this strike to the state and the district. Will the MTA help pay those fines?
No, the MTA does not pay fines. We support our members in winning a fair contract. And the Newton Teachers Association looked at this situation and decided they had to take this step and take the risk on the fines. And certainly they were prepared to do that. Obviously, they've gotten a lot of support from the community, from other MTA locals during the contract fight.
Okay, Max Page, president of the Massachusetts Teachers Association, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.